Love is a complicated thing. We expect it to be loud, expressive, and full of constant attention. But the truth is, real love does not always look like what we see in movies. Sometimes it is silent. Sometimes it steps back, and sometimes the person who loves you the most will ignore you, not because he doesn't care, but because love is far more complex than just presence. Many women assume that if a man ignores them, he doesn't love them, that he is losing interest, that something is wrong. But what if I told you that in many cases the opposite is true? That sometimes when a man steps back, when he withdraws into silence, it is not a sign of disinterest, but of deep care, internal conflict, and love. Love is often portrayed as something loud, expressive, and constantly reaffirming. From grand gestures to endless words of affection, society has conditioned us to believe that love should always be obvious, always spoken, and always visible. But the truth is, love is not always loud. Sometimes the deepest and most meaningful love exists in the quiet moments, in the actions that go unnoticed, and in the spaces where words are not needed. A person who truly loves you may not always say it every moment of the day, but they will show it in ways that words could never capture. Love does not always announce itself with extravagant declarations. Sometimes it whispers through consistent effort, silent support, and unspoken understanding. Some of the most powerful expressions of love are found in what is not said. It is in the way someone looks at you when you're not watching, the way they listen to you when you speak, the way they remember the little things that matter to you. Love is often found in the sacrifices that no one acknowledges, the ones made quietly, without seeking recognition or praise. When love is genuine, it does not always need validation through noise. A person who loves you will respect your space when you need it, will stand by you even when they have nothing to say, and will be there not just in moments of joy, but also in moments of silence. Love is present even when words are absent. Too often people mistake silence for indifference. If someone is not constantly expressing their love through words or grand gestures, it is easy to assume they do not care. But love is not measured by how often someone speaks of it. It is measured by how consistently they show up for you, how deeply they understand you, and how much they prioritize your well-being. The loudest love can sometimes be the most fleeting. Words are easy to say, and grand gestures can be temporary, but the kind of love that lasts is built in the quiet moments. The moments where someone chooses you over and over again. Not for attention, not for validation, but because they truly care. Love is often strongest in the moments that do not require explanation. It is in the quiet comfort of sitting next to someone and feeling at peace. It is in the way they hold your hand without a word, in the way they take care of things so you don't have to worry. Love is in the patience to listen, in the willingness to be there even when there is nothing exciting happening, and in the steady presence that says, I am here and I will always be. People who love quietly are often the ones who love the deepest. They do not need to prove their love through constant words or excessive attention. Instead, they choose to show their love through reliability, loyalty, and small everyday actions that add up to something meaningful over time. In a world that glorifies loud, visible love, it is easy to overlook the quiet kind, but the truth is love is not a performance. It does not need to be displayed for the world to see. The deepest connections are often built in moments of stillness, in the kind of love that does not need to be shouted to be real. So if you ever feel uncertain about someone's love because it is not loud, take a step back and look for the quiet ways they show up. Pay attention to their actions, their consistency, their presence. Because sometimes the most profound love is the one that does not need to announce itself. It simply exists steady and unwavering in the moments that truly matter. Men process emotions differently, not because they lack depth or feeling, but because their emotional framework is often shaped by biology, upbringing, and societal expectations. From an early age, many boys are taught to be strong, to hide their vulnerabilities, and to prioritize logic over emotion. As a result, by the time they reach adulthood, their way of processing feelings often looks very different from what society expects or understands. Unlike women, who are generally encouraged to express emotions openly and seek connection through conversation, men often internalize their struggles. They may not verbalize their feelings in the moment, but that does not mean they are not experiencing them. Instead of talking through problems right away, many men prefer solitude to process what they are feeling. It is not about avoidance. It is about gathering their thoughts and emotions privately before addressing them. This difference in emotional processing can sometimes create misunderstandings in relationships. A woman might express her frustration, sadness, or stress through words, seeking comfort and validation from a partner or friend. A man, on the other hand, may withdraw. Distance is often misunderstood as a sign of disinterest, detachment, or even rejection, but in reality it can be a form of protection, both for oneself and for the relationship. There are times when stepping back is not about abandonment, but about preserving something valuable. Space allows for reflection, growth, and emotional balance. It gives individuals the opportunity to process their feelings, assess situations with clarity, and protect their well-being from unnecessary harm. In relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, people often feel compelled to always be present, to always engage, and to always respond immediately. However, this constant interaction can sometimes cloud judgment and lead to misunderstandings. Distance, when used wisely, prevents reactive decisions based on temporary emotions. It allows emotions to settle and provides time for a clearer perspective. A moment of space can be the difference between an impulsive argument and a meaningful conversation. For many, distance is a necessary way to regain emotional control. When emotions run high, people tend to say things they don't mean or act in ways they later regret. Taking a step back provides the chance to process feelings, understand what is truly important, and respond with intention rather than reaction. This is especially true for those who process emotions differently. Some people need to talk things out immediately, while others require solitude to work through their feelings before they can express them. Another reason why distance can be a form of protection is that it creates boundaries. Not every relationship or situation is healthy. Some people drain energy, manipulate emotions, or impose unrealistic expectations. By creating space, individuals can assess whether a relationship is nurturing or toxic. Distance helps in identifying whether someone values a relationship for what it truly is or only when it's convenient for them. It reveals the difference between those who respect boundaries and those who disregard them. Moreover, space allows people to grow as individuals. It is easy to lose oneself in relationships by constantly prioritizing others' needs, desires, and expectations. But true connection is not about losing individuality. It's about two whole people choosing to come together while still maintaining their sense of self. Distance fosters independence and self-discovery. It gives people the freedom to pursue personal goals, reflect on their aspirations, and ensure they are not simply conforming to external pressures. In romantic relationships, distance can strengthen bonds rather than weaken them. It allows partners to miss each other, to appreciate each other more, and to understand the value of their connection. It prevents relationships from becoming routine or codependent. When two people have the confidence to take space when needed, they show trust in their relationship rather than insecurity. They understand that love is not about constant proximity, but about mutual respect and emotional security. Additionally, distance can be an act of self-preservation. Not everyone is deserving of full emotional access. Sometimes stepping away is necessary to protect one's mental and emotional health. If a relationship is one-sided, if someone constantly takes without giving, or if interactions become toxic, creating space is a form of self-respect. It is a declaration that one's well-being is a priority and that energy should not be wasted on people who do not reciprocate effort or respect. Distance also allows people to observe without interference. When too close to a situation, emotions can distort reality, but when stepping back, it becomes easier to see people's true intentions, behaviors, and actions. Some people thrive on attention, but when attention is removed, their genuine nature is revealed. Distance provides clarity, making it easier to distinguish between genuine relationships and those built on convenience or obligation. Ultimately, distance is not about creating emotional walls, but about ensuring that the right people have access. It is a way to maintain balance, prevent burnout, and preserve relationships that truly matter. When used with purpose, it fosters growth, deepens understanding, and protects both individuals and their connections from unnecessary harm. It is not about pushing people away, but about knowing when space is needed to allow something better to emerge. Respect is not merely something we say, it is something we show through our actions. Words can be powerful, but they mean little without the behavior to back them up. True respect is demonstrated in how we treat others, how we listen, and how we honor our commitments. It is not about grand gestures or empty promises. It is about consistency, integrity, and genuine consideration for others. One of the most telling ways we show respect is through how we listen. In a world full of distractions, active listening has become rare. Many people hear to respond rather than to understand. However, true respect means giving someone your full attention, valuing their perspective, and making them feel heard. When we listen with intention, we show that we respect not just their words, but their experiences, emotions, and presence. Respect is also reflected in how we treat people, especially in difficult moments. It is easy to be respectful when things are going well, but true character is revealed in times of conflict. Do we resort to insults, passive aggression, or dismissiveness? Or do we handle disagreements with patience, kindness, and an open mind? The way we navigate challenges speaks volumes about the level of respect we have for others and for ourselves. Another essential aspect of respect is honoring boundaries. Everyone has limits, whether emotional, physical, or personal, and respecting them is a fundamental way to show consideration. It means not overstepping, not pressuring, and not assuming that our desires override someone else's comfort. Whether it is in relationships, workplaces, or friendships, respecting boundaries fosters trust and healthy interactions. When people feel safe and valued, relationships thrive. Consistency is another cornerstone of respect. It is easy to be kind and considerate when it is convenient, but respect is about showing up consistently regardless of circumstances. It means keeping promises, following through on commitments, and treating people with the same level of decency at all times. There is no such thing as selective respect. If someone is respectful only when it benefits them, it is not genuine. Respect is also about humility. It is recognizing that we do not always have all the answers, that other people's perspectives matter, and that learning from others is a strength, not a weakness. Arrogance and entitlement are the opposite of respect. When we approach life with humility, we acknowledge the value in others and create an environment where mutual respect can grow. Furthermore, respecting others begins with self-respect. When we hold ourselves to a standard of integrity, when we set boundaries, and when we refuse to tolerate mistreatment, we set an example for how we expect to be treated. People who respect themselves are less likely to accept disrespect from others. They stand firm in their values and demand the same level of respect that they offer. Respect also extends to the way we handle power and influence. Those in positions of authority, whether leaders, mentors, or public figures, have the opportunity to either use their influence to uplift others or to diminish them. True leadership is built on respect, not fear. The most admired and effective leaders are those who treat others with dignity, regardless of status or background. They lead by example, demonstrating that respect is a fundamental principle, not an option. Actions always speak louder than words. Anyone can claim to respect others, but real respect is shown in how we behave when no one is watching. It is in the way we treat service workers, how we handle criticism, how we navigate disagreements, and how we support those around us. Respect is not about convenience. It is a daily practice, a commitment to treating others with the dignity they deserve. Ultimately, respect is a choice. It is a decision to act with kindness, fairness, and empathy. It is an ongoing practice, not a one-time effort. By choosing respect in our words, behaviors, and decisions, we not only strengthen our relationships, but also create a world where people feel valued, heard, and understood. A strong relationship is not defined by constant closeness, but by the ability to give each other space to grow, reflect, and maintain individuality. Many people believe that love means always being together, sharing every moment, and never needing time apart. However, true love is built on trust, respect, and the understanding that personal space is essential for a relationship to thrive. When two people come together in a relationship, they bring their own experiences, dreams, and personal identities. While love creates a powerful bond, it does not mean that individuality should be sacrificed. Space in a relationship allows both partners to continue evolving as individuals, which ultimately strengthens the connection they share. When each person maintains their own passions, interests, and friendships, they bring more depth and fulfillment to the relationship. One of the biggest challenges in relationships is finding the balance between togetherness and independence. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that being inseparable is a sign of a strong bond. However, too much closeness can lead to dependency, where one or both partners lose their sense of self. When this happens, the relationship can become overwhelming rather than enriching. True connection is not about merging into one entity, but about supporting each other while maintaining personal freedom. Space is also necessary for emotional health. Everyone needs time to process thoughts, reflect on experiences, and recharge mentally. When couples spend every moment together, they may unintentionally neglect their own emotional well-being. Taking time apart allows each person to gain clarity, reduce stress, and come back to the relationship with renewed energy and appreciation for their partner. Another important reason space is essential is that it prevents resentment from building up. When people feel suffocated or pressured in a relationship, frustration can grow. Small disagreements may turn into major conflicts simply because there is no room to breathe. Allowing space creates an environment where both partners feel respected and valued as individuals rather than feeling trapped in the relationship. Space in a relationship does not mean distance or emotional detachment. It is about understanding that healthy love requires both connection and independence. Trust plays a crucial role in this balance. When there is trust, Time apart does not create insecurity or fear. Instead, it strengthens the bond. Each partner knows that the love they share is not based on constant presence, but on deep emotional connection and mutual respect. In fact, space often leads to greater appreciation for each other. When people spend time apart pursuing their own interests, they have more to share when they come back together. They bring new experiences, fresh perspectives, and renewed excitement into the relationship. Absence, even in small doses, can make the heart grow fonder and remind partners of why they fell in love in the first place. Moreover, giving each other space fosters self-growth. The best relationships are those in which both partners continue to evolve, challenge themselves, and strive for personal fulfillment. When each person is encouraged to grow individually, they bring their best selves into the relationship. This creates a strong, dynamic partnership built on mutual support rather than dependency. One of the most effective ways to incorporate space into a relationship is through open communication. When both partners understand and respect each other's needs, space is seen as a positive aspect rather than a threat. Discussing boundaries, personal time, and individual goals helps create a relationship that supports both closeness and independence. Ultimately, a strong relationship thrives on space because love is not about possession, it is about freedom, trust, and growth. The healthiest relationships are those where both partners feel secure enough to give each other room to breathe, explore, and evolve. When love is based on mutual understanding rather than constant attachment, it becomes stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling. Silence is often misunderstood in relationships. Many people associate silence with detachment, avoidance, or the absence of love, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful tests of a bond. True connection is not determined by how much a couple talks, but by the depth of understanding that exists, even in the quiet moments. Silence can reveal the strength of a relationship, exposing whether it is built on genuine trust and emotional connection, or merely dependent on constant conversation to fill the void. When two people are deeply connected, they do not need to fill every moment with words. They find comfort in simply being together, whether they are sitting in the same room, taking a walk, or even engaged in separate activities. Their bond is not based on forced conversation, but on an unspoken understanding that speaks louder than words. In contrast, relationships that rely solely on words to maintain a connection may struggle when silence enters the picture. If silence feels uncomfortable or threatening, it may indicate that the foundation of the relationship is not as strong as it seems. Silence has the ability to reveal emotional security or insecurity. In a strong relationship, silence is a sign of trust. It allows each partner to be present without pressure, knowing that their connection does not need to be constantly reaffirmed through words. However, in an insecure relationship, silence can breed anxiety, leading one or both partners to question whether something is wrong. If silence feels like a threat, it may be a sign that deeper issues need to be addressed. Another way silence tests a bond is by highlighting the level of understanding between two people. Words can sometimes create misunderstandings, but silence can clarify things in unexpected ways. A person's body language, facial expressions, and energy often communicate more than words ever could. A strong bond allows two people to hear each other even when no words are spoken. They can sense when something is wrong, offer comfort without needing an explanation, and support each other in ways that go beyond verbal communication. Silence also tests patience and emotional maturity. Not every problem needs an immediate discussion, and not every moment requires constant engagement. In healthy relationships, partners understand that silence is a natural part of life. They do not rush to fill it out of fear or discomfort. Instead, they embrace it as an opportunity to reflect, process emotions, and allow space for deeper understanding. Those who cannot handle silence often struggle with emotional regulation, feeling the need to constantly seek reassurance or distraction rather than allowing things to settle naturally. In moments of conflict, silence can be one of the greatest tests of a relationship. Some people use silence as a weapon, shutting down communication as a form of punishment. This kind of silence creates distance rather than strengthening a bond. However, when used correctly, silence during a disagreement can allow both individuals to step back, think clearly, and approach the situation with a more balanced perspective. It prevents heated arguments driven by emotion rather than logic, giving both partners the chance to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. One of the most profound ways silence tests a bond is by revealing how much two people genuinely enjoy each other's company. If a relationship is built on superficial connection, silence can feel unbearable. It may expose a lack of emotional depth or shared value. However, when two people truly connect, silence becomes a shared space of peace and intimacy. It does not create distance, but rather strengthens their sense of unity. They do not need constant stimulation or external distractions to feel fulfilled in each other's presence. In the modern world, where distractions are everywhere and people are constantly connected through technology, silence has become a rare and often uncomfortable experience. Many relationships suffer because they are built on external stimulation rather than internal connection. When the noise fades away and silence enters, the strength of a bond is put to the test. It forces people to confront whether they truly feel at home with each other or whether they have been relying on words and distractions to cover deeper issues. Silence is not the absence of love. It is a measure of its depth. A relationship that can survive silence is one built on genuine trust, understanding, and emotional security. It is in those quiet moments that true connection is revealed, not in the words spoken, but in the unspoken presence that reassures both partners that they are exactly where they are meant to be.